great workout. We've been working out every single day. Just did about a 3 or 4 hour walk, and we're on day 29 of carnivore. And I just wanted to say something as a follow up about a channel that I still like, but what I'm noticing is there's a huge division between people, ideologies, um, that at one time the things that Eek Acres Kevin is asserting seemed very minimal, where it's just like friends have little slight disagreements, right? That's kind of how I view this. School, you have different bands you like and you tease each other about it. But ultimately, these little tiny differences are creating these massive rifts that vet, represent, and become concrete belief systems that people stand behind. And I'm 100% removed and different from, though I respect his view, I kind of don't respect his view. So Kevin's view is that there are healthy people, that what he's basically proselytizing these days, and he's doing videos about it, so he is proselytizing it, is that there's some sort of like dogmatic or religiosity based around the fact that people are promulgating and propagating negative social media abstracts that don't correlate to the actual reality or the actual world that people are living in day to day. And I would venture to say that it's just the opposite. I do see some of that negative feedback, piezo sort of loop occurring, where there's like a negative connotation that feeds back in through a central system as far as the web matrix goes. But I also see that this is a reflection of long-standing feuds, prejudices that couldn't be spoken outright and now are being, like the whole idea of bullying and so forth. But now social media is being used as an outlet, a way to vent frustrations out, um, under the context, the subheader of this. So I believe, like, when I've worked one on one with people, which I've worked with like countless clients over the years, and had a lot of great candid talks with people. When it comes down to it, I'm saying, look, it's about the power of one. And when people hear me say that, it resonates with them. Like, I'm when I was doing rideshare a little while back, I'm picking up a single father, black father. We're having these great conversations about esoteric stuff and just back and forth, back and forth. He's taking care of his daughter all on his own. I'm helping him with his groceries upstairs. We're really hitting it off. And I go, I can tell where we're going with this, and I assure you, you're safe going all the way with what you have to say, and that is, it's about the power of one, isn't it? Isn't it the world against you? Isn't it the world against you and your daughter? And he's like, yeah, man. I didn't expect you to be able to identify that or see that. I go, I believe it or not, I'm under a very similar. I think when you're awake, you're under the same type of. You see the world as this hazy, mercurial abstract where you're going, they're all out to get me. So when I hear people saying, "Oh, that's just a fantasy, that's a delusion, that's something that you're making up," I think that what people have in common is that when you're really awake, you can see and identify that, look, I want to help bolster your power up so that you can build up an arsenal to withstand the world trying to break you down. That every system, that every ideology, that everything that's based around the battle of the sexes, which doesn't exist, the battle of race doesn't exist. The feudalistic battle is the only thing that exists, where Uncle Sam takes his money at the top and you end up with nothing at all, right? So I find it a very spoiled, selfish, um, outlook that hails at a fundamentalist. So a lot of times these fundamentalists don't read the Bible much. They follow a certain doctrine that's constantly contradicting itself, but the principles are left out. And I think when you're out there and you're living through the scrapes and the scraps and you're having to fight your way to the top, which is just surviving another day, let's be honest. You get to this point where you really want to see the underdog pull forward and move ahead, right? And that's the point that we're at right now, where we really have to uplift each other in the sense of what can I do for this person so that they can stand on their own, right? That's really what it comes down to. And then recognizing that sort of self-reliance, that self-determination, where you're really putting your will against the deterministic machine, the predetermined aspects of free will does exist. And I've had this argument with so many different people, and most of the people who argue against free will and rally on the side of determinism are spoiled. They've never really had to fight for anything in their lives, and everything seems like a struggle. And even more so, they're able to rely on the default. They're able to rely on people, right, as an existential source of resources. But when you really have to stand on your own, you'll know more than ever that free will does exist, and it's like a muscle, and you've got to keep it exercised. It's like the mind has to constantly be aware that when you lose your fitness, mentally, spiritually, physically, you're going to lose it all. All right? And hello, folks, and I hope you're doing good. And when I say the power of one, it's not any sort of like weird Elon Musk Gestapo shit. It really is about building yourself up to fullness. And I really do support people in that effort. And I have, like when I was working as a top level personal trainer, when I was working at the bottom, when I've done rideshare, when I've worked for high level resorts with entertainers and doing transportation, concierge. I'm always looking at that factor, that missing factor that people have, right? Where they never really had to fight for anything in their lives. They've always pretended that they have that. They sort of rob and steal, and they're chameleons, and they posture themselves as if they are self-made people. But when you really get down to it, when you look at them all, like somebody was piecing apart Jeff Bezos the other day. I don't know if you saw that, but just going itemizing, like, no, he got $100,000 from his parents here. He got 140,000 here. Same with Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? He didn't go to his father's funeral, but his father passed away and left him a shit ton of money. And that money, he was able to go buy himself some Primbolin that no other bodybuilders at that time were able to afford. And if you look at him, who was it? Mike Mentzer and some other people called him fat. He really was chubby if you look back there. There were greater bodybuilders, but he was able to buy the good stuff. He had the ego where he had to be on top. Was he the greatest? We just don't know. How many of you are never going to be able to express your inner potential? And that's really what I look at. So I really try to preach and proselytize the power of one. And that means if you're a single mother or a single father, you really have to try and keep that purity alive. And that means fighting people off with everything you've got. Be well, okay?